Things seems to be in place, and the vehicles that will carry the President of the United States are in town. And the clock is now ticking to the Global Entrepreneurship Summit that is expected to change the future of thousands of Kenyans. We're counting down the hours for you here at KTN, and we promise to cover the visit and indeed the summit in a way that only we can. Later on in this bulletin, we'll be crossing over to the coastal region, and we will be speaking to Francis Ontomwa, and he will be looking at the corridors of justice, what exactly happened down there. Later on, we'll also be speaking to Franco Tieno from Kogelo. Remember, these are the residents who are quite disappointed when the U.S. ambassador made it very clear that Barack Obama was not going to make it to Kogelo. He will be speaking to some of the residents just to find out what do they feel. Apparently, they still have some hope that maybe at some point he will make the decision to make his way to Kogelo. Let's see how that goes. This is KTN News. Let's take a look at our top stories tonight. Comet the Beast, Obama's vehicles on Nairobi city streets today. The burden Nairobians must bear, traffic disruptions expected for 3 days. Obama is ours. Siaya, Homa Bay, Migori counties lay claim to U.S. president and taking no chances. Heavy security as terror suspects is charged in Mombasa. Many thanks for joining us on KTN Prime. Our sign language interpreter at the bottom end of your screen is Meresha Witi. I'm Linda Ogutu. Let's begin with videos of a motorcade that caused a stir in Nairobi today. Vehicles to be used by U.S. President Barack Obama and his entourage. Take a look. Well, those pictures you have just seen are the reason for the next story. The United States President Barack Obama is expected to jet into Kenya in the next 46 hours. Now, if you're planning to use Mombasa Road, Uhuru Highway and Waiyaki Way on Friday afternoon, then be warned that these roads will be closed to traffic as from 2 p.m. ahead of President Obama's arrival. Patrick Amimo has the details.
The motorcade, including the Beast, that President Obama will use when he arrives Friday in Nairobi, was this evening escorted in a convoy from the airport towards Gigiri. The motorcade was involved in a drill and reconnaissance on the route that Obama will use while in Kenya. On Tuesday, 5 American planes, which included a chopper and 4 Boeing V-22 Osprey aircraft, made several reconnaissance trips in the city before landing and taking off at Kenyatta University grounds.
We wish to confirm that all security arrangements are in place, and wish to urge all Kenyans to extend our traditional warm welcome to President Obama and his delegation, as well as other dignitaries attending the summit.
Earlier in the day, top security chiefs in Nairobi County met to strategize on the security arrangements and traffic flow during President Barack Obama's visit. The U.S. government early this month deployed almost 1,000 Secret Service agents to work with their Kenyan counterparts to seal any security loopholes ahead of Obama's arrival.
Or what I'm requesting Nairobians and any other person who will come to Nairobi is to ensure that they cooperate, they coordinate with our security agents, Kenyans and foreign security personnel.
The Kenyan Civil Aviation Authority has written to all airlines and travel agencies informing them that the Kenyan airspace will be closed to all other flights on Friday between 7:45 p.m. and 8:35 p.m. to allow President Obama to land safely at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. The airspace will also be closed to all other flights on Sunday between 5 p.m. and 5:45 p.m., the day Obama is expected to leave. But the disruptions will not only affect the airspace. Road traffic flows in the city and its environs will also be affected. From the airport, President Barack Obama will use Mombasa Road en route to his hotel, which for now still remains a top-guarded secret. Motorists using Mombasa Road should prepare for traffic gridlocks.
That there will be variations in the timings, but for Friday, expect us from 2. You may not be able to use the Waiyaki Way that you know, including Chiromo and Museum Hill roads. That's on Friday from 2 up to onwards into late into the night.
President Obama and President Uhuru Kenyatta will attend the 6th Global Entrepreneurship Summit at the UN complex in Gigiri Saturday morning. Obama will later lay wreaths at the former U.S. Embassy at the intersection of Moi Avenue and Haile Selassie Avenue. Later in the afternoon, Obama and Uhuru will hold bilateral talks at State House, Nairobi. Obama will address an invited audience at Kasarani Stadium on Sunday afternoon.
There will be a lot of movements towards Thika Road, and therefore the roads around Thika Road will experience some interruptions when it is actually necessary.
Motorists have been advised to use alternative routes to reduce inconveniences.
If you are a motorist and you don't intend or you have no issues within the CBD, then take advantage of the Southern Bypass if you are coming from the western side of this country. You can also take the other side of Ruaka Road so that you may join Northern Bypass so as to avoid Waiyaki Way and the CBD in general.
Yes, we'll have about 10,000 officers taking care of security in Nairobi. They have called for reinforcement from the neighboring counties. So we have our counterparts who have joined us. We have also incorporated other security agents in Nairobi. For example, prison, we have prison officers. We'll also have NYS to team up with us so that we can police together.
We sampled selected views from Kenyans over the decision to reorganize traffic in the city during Obama's visit.
It's okay because after all he's coming on it will be on a weekend. So weekends we'll be at home watching. So let him come.
It has a very detrimental effect to the Kenyan people because as far as security is concerned, it's guaranteed of security. So it beats every logic to see roads being closed.
Barack Obama first visited Kenya in 1988. The second time he made visit was as a U.S. Senator in 2006. This time round, he comes in as a U.S. President. Patrick Amimo, KTN News, Nairobi.
You're watching KTN News. So basically, Mombasa Road, Uhuru Highway, Waiyaki Way users need to prepare for major traffic disruptions. Tonight on KTN, the big question, we're asking for your thoughts on the fact that traffic will be disrupted on these roads that many of us would consider major. Let us know what you think. You can tweet me at Lindo Gutu. You can tweet us at KTN Kenya, and I'll be sampling some of your views during this bulletin. Now, although President Obama will be in Kenya principally to co-chair the Global Entrepreneurship Summit, the government has confirmed that he will address Kenyans at the Kasarani Safaricom Stadium on Sunday. Michelle Ngele was at the Kasarani Gymnasium, and this is what she had to for you.
After the confirmation that U.S. President Barack Obama will address Kenyans at the Kasarani Gymnasium, security preparations for the speaker and his chosen audience were on an overdrive. The Secret Service took over all security efforts concerning Obama's visit, and access to the gymnasium was strictly restricted to officials from the Secret Service and the American Embassy. Obama is scheduled to address about 5,000 Kenyans at the Kasarani Gymnasium on Sunday. Invites have already been sent to members of parliament, youth and women leaders, students, people living with disabilities and ordinary citizens, all of whom have been carefully selected and vetted by the American Embassy. State House spokesperson Manoa Esipisu said he has no further details on Obama's address, although he did describe this week's events as significant for the country. He echoes the words of President Uhuru Kenyatta, who made it clear that this will not just be another photo opportunity, but a chance for the country to reap economic benefits.
The Global Entrepreneurship Summit has grown into a truly global gathering of entrepreneurs, industrialists, government leaders, as well as our young people. It connects men and women of imagination and enterprise to their peers around the world, and it exposes all of us to new opportunities while teaching us new answers to problems of wide concern.
The last-minute rush to spruce up for Friday was evident, and while businessmen are hoping to cash in on Obama's visit and the Global Entrepreneurship Summit, one man has a different request to President Obama. Mohammed presented a letter addressed to President Obama through U.S. Ambassador Robert Godek. In the letter, he asks President Obama to apply for Kenyan citizenship so he can vie for presidency in Kenya after his second and final term as U.S. president ends.
What prompted me to write this letter to His Excellency, the President of the United States of America, that is Barack Hussein Obama, is, since I am not a sitting head of state who will sign bilateral relations or business contracts with him, I have thought over, and I thought over a way of helping a way of helping out the great nation of Kenya. So then I thought and got out with a deflection thinking approach, which is draft a letter to Obama, ask him Kenyan citizenship, get him Kenyan identification card, that is kitambulisho, then advise him and tell him to vie for the bid to State House after his second term at White House. Thank you.
With a signature on the letter showing it has been received at the embassy, Mohammed, like many other Kenyans, awaits the arrival of the most powerful man in the world, one who traces his paternal roots to Kenya.
It's a good idea he's coming over. We have a privilege of hosting the superpower president. And I think it's an advantage to us so that we can learn in that the governor of Nairobi should be knowing that it's now time to invest heavily in superior structures, in that we build new roads, even flyovers, whatever, what we see in the movies. We need them here to ease on the congestion. And he should be coming every month.
Although the theme of Obama's address to Kenyans is yet to be known, there is a lot of excitement on the streets considering that this is the very first time in history that a sitting U.S. president is visiting the country. Michelle Ngele, KTN News, from the Kasarani Gymnasium, Nairobi.
Lots of security around. Now, amidst all the excitement and big business talk about the Global Entrepreneurship Summit, there is a critical segment of the Kenyan economy that few people are talking about. Tonight, KTN's Lofty Matambo looks at the place and the space of the Jua Kali sector in what is going on.
This is the 6th edition of the Global Entrepreneurship Summit, one that is expected to have a huge impact on business for the participating countries, especially Kenya as the host. However, its importance may be lost on the small and medium enterprises, such as the Jua Kali industry players. To Frederick Kinyanjui, today is a day like any other.
Mimi naishi Australia Rungarunga. Namkanga saa 12 ama saa 11. Na wanafikanga hapa 6:30 hapo. Sasa mara nyingine nakujanga napata maybe 500, 900, mara nyingine nakosa.
And to him, that is investment, making, selling, spending.
Mimi saa inauzianga tu hawa hapo hapa. Sasa nikipata 500 yangu hapo nanunua mabati 2 pale.
As for now, Kenya has no direct flights to the US. if this is included in the bilateral talks between President Uhuru Kenyatta and President Obama on Saturday, perhaps it could mean robust business for those engaging in export business to the US.
Kitu moja ambaye serikali yangu imeweka umuhimu zaidi ni juu ya njia za kurahisisha wale ambao wanafanya biashara na kuharakisha approval zao na mambo mengine kama haya.
Mimi ningetaka kuexport. Sasa pesa ndio inakuanga shida.
Some of the expected speakers at the long-awaited summit include Richard Branson, founder of the Virgin Group companies, Michael Bloomberg, owner of Bloomberg Media, a leading business television broadcaster in America, and Aliko Dangote, owner of Dangote Industries, a leading supplier of cement in West Africa. The caliber and level of discussion expected from these participants and others creating a big gap between the content of the GES 2015 and the needs of the millions of SMEs in Kenya.
Sisi hatuoni kama kuna maana sana ya Obama kukuja kama kuna venye atabadilisha maisha yetu. Tunasikia tu story ya Obama tu kama fanya tunasikiaga tu game kama ya Chelsea, tunakuwa tu tuko na morali.
I hope ataleza tusaidia, maybe serikali, najua serikali ndio italeta hiyo mambo. Wateremshe kama watuteremshie mabati.
Waziri Aden vile nimesema amekuwa akihusika na mambo haya, na nafikiri wakati tutakuwa na round table ile ambayo inakuja sasa kati ya serikali na wafanyabiashara, mtasikia mengi ambaye tumeweza kuyatimiza.
Currently, the total number of SMEs stands at 7.5 million, contributing to 40% to the 4.7 trillion country's GDP. Out of every 10 jobs created in the country, 8 come from the small-scale business segment.
Yani kama sio jua kali watu kama 20,000 hapa hatungekuwa tuko na kazi.
Analysts say any trickle-down effect of the Global Economic Summit targeted at the small and medium enterprises will mean a lot for the jua kali sector. The challenge will be to keep this sector in mind during the summit. Lofty Matambo, KTN News.
So in the next 2 days, the entire world probably will be focused on Kenya for the Global Entrepreneurship Summit. But just apart from that, the fact that US President Barack Obama will be in the country. Let's speak to Ambassador Amina Mohammed, the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, probably the one person who knows more about this than we do. Let's look at the United States and Kenya. If you were to describe the relationship that exists between the two countries, how would you describe it?
I would say it was solid, I would say it was strong, and I would say it was growing. It's solid because it started a long time ago, actually before independence, and you had His Excellency the President talk about that yesterday. And I think you've had that being repeated over and over again in the last 1 month at least. So a relationship that is older than our independence, that is actually older than our life as a republic, and that even then was defined by its vision, right, for the future of our country. You know, with the airlift of students to the United States, including, of course, President Barack Obama's father. You know, just looking at what the United States could do to support the future of our country, and therefore, and so it's solid. It's very, very strong and very broad, because it's deep and covers very many areas. But it's not superficial. It's very, very deep. Whether you're talking about security, whether you're talking about education, whether you're talking about health, including with the support that we got on HIV/AIDS. You remember when it was actually ravaging our country, and the country that came with the biggest amount of support was the United States. Whether it is with the issues relating to terrorism today, whether it's in technological transfer and support, you know, so it's really a broad and very deep relationship, and one that is growing. It's better today than it was yesterday.
Yeah.
It will be better tomorrow than it is today. So a good relationship.
Diplomatically?
Diplomatically at a very good place. Very, very good place. Look, in the last 1 year, we've had very many high-level visits to our country. We had senators here, and you remember there was a huge number of senators who were here. We've had the Secretary for Commerce, we've had the Secretary for Transportation, Secretary Fox, who came in with 30 businessmen and entrepreneurs and investors. We had a very, very successful business forum with him. We have had the Secretary of State, my counterpart, John Kerry, who visited with us here. So we've really had high-level visits. And we've had many business fora, actually. And not just that, but the Corporate Council on Africa has held forums here and in the United States.
Okay.
You know, so our relationship, like I said, that's growing.
All right. Kenya has had a series of terrorist attacks in the last year, different places all over the country, and we have seen travel advisories being issued by some Western nations. And now the President of the United States is making his way to Kenya for the Global Entrepreneurship Summit. From where you stand, where does this now place Kenya?
Well, for us, it's a defining moment, actually, a defining moment in our history. It's the first time that a sitting head of state is visiting our country. It has never happened before. It speaks of you know, the kind of leadership that we have. It also speaks about what we've been doing and the recognition that we are getting for doing the right things, for carrying out the right kind of reforms, for trying as best as we can to ensure that our constitution, our wonderful constitution, is implemented. I think it's recognition that Kenya is headed in the right direction, and so there is a need to not just recognize but associate you know, with Kenya, but also a recognition of the energy, of the creativity, of the innovation of our youth. And that's why the GS is happening you know, in our country.
Now that you're talking about our youth and the Global Entrepreneurship Summit that's coming up this weekend, what are some of the areas that you think Kenya and the United States can cooperate in terms of trade?
As far as the summit is concerned, for us it's a wonderful opportunity to showcase what we actually have. We've done that different times in different places, but for the first time we actually have the whole world here. The whole world to look at what is happening in our country, the progress that we have made, the innovations. After all, we are home to the world's leading mobile money payment and transfer. M-Pesa. We are also the home of IHub, right, which is a wonderful space that has been created for our youth, but also for our tech companies, our upstarts, technologists, investors, common space where they can meet and decide whether they want to work together, you know, or not. You know, so basically we have been able on our own to do so much, right? That now we get a chance to show the world.
So basically we've been doing very well on our own, but then let's admit it, we've had security challenges. Are we looking at the prospects of cooperating with the U.S. in terms of security?
Absolutely, totally. And you know, yes, we have had security challenges, but so has everybody else. Right? Just look around the world. We are not alone. We're not unique. Right? In fact, what's unique is that we've been able to come to terms and deal with it. And when we have not done so well, we've pulled up our socks, rolled up our sleeves, right, and gone to work. Right? And so now you look at all the measures, all the mechanisms, you know, all the systems, all the institutions that have been put in place to just make sure that every day of the week, every hour in the day, we're trying our best, right, to beat these evil people at what they do, right? You know, so I think you know, sometimes we deserve to, you know, to pat ourselves on the back and say, listen, we've had challenges, it's difficult, sometimes it actually looks impossible, right? But we have managed. We have managed, and it's actually also a testimony to the strength of our people, to our resilience as a country. I think something that has kept us going from the times, you know, when we were a colony until today, but we've always been able to rise to the occasion, and every time we stumbled a little, we shook off the dust, got up
and moved.
And moved.
Okay. So here's the thing, lots of young people who knew that you're coming into the show tonight were asking as a Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary. Some of them have been trying to get out of Kenya to probably do business, engage with people, engage with businessmen across the globe. They've been having a little bit of difficulty. Now you're having this Global Entrepreneurship Summit. What specific things are you going to do to help the young men and women who are now interested to reach out to businessmen across the globe?
Well, this is the opportunity of a lifetime for any young person, who is looking for partnerships, who's looking for cooperation, who is actually looking for investors, who's looking to showcase what they've been able to do. This is a wonderful opportunity because now they will have in one place, in one spot, everybody that they need, right? In order to move forward. They will be able to network, they will make friends, they will be probably, if they have good innovations, they will probably attract investment into those innovations. If they have startups, And today we had testimony during the summit at KICC of these really young people who are doing amazing things. Some of who had already been acquired for incredible amounts of money. I could just sit there and salivate and think, oh my goodness, I am in the wrong business. I should be doing what they're doing. But really amazing stuff. And we all sat there feeling extremely proud to be Kenyan and thinking we want to be associated with these young people. We want to be able to praise them, to commend them for what they're doing. But above all, to just say thank you very, very much for doing this, for putting our country in the limelight. Especially in an area, right, that is so new, that is so innovative, that's so creative, and that we want to be known for.
If you were to address young men, young entrepreneurs who are watching you now, read the Global Entrepreneurship Summit that is coming up, as Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary and someone who's gone round the globe, you know how businesses work around there, what would you tell them?
I'm proud of them. I'm completely and totally proud of them. And that as a government we will do everything in our power to support them, to help them, to make sure that they actually achieve and realize their potential. That's the only thing I can say, because really today I was so impressed, and as I said, I was just happy to be Kenyan. So it was like they say, it was a feel-good moment for all of us.
So what if there's someone somewhere who's thinking, should I not go? What are the benefits?
Go for it. Go for it.
What are the benefits of this thing?
As Kenyans, we always take risks, and I learned that, the hard way today. So, go for it. In any case, it's always either yes or no, right? Go for it. Give it your best. And in most cases, when you do that, you actually achieve something.
Lastly, before I let you go, will your ministry reach out to the entrepreneurs, young Kenyan entrepreneurs who are probably interested in reaching out and doing business across the globe? Will your ministry be helping them, guiding them in a way?
The whole government will be doing that. We have the Ministry of Industrialization, and Aden Mohammed has been involved with them. He's been working with them. He's been doing a lot of good stuff with them. You also have the ministry that's responsible for the youth, which is the Ministry of Devolution and Planning, and they've also been very, very supportive, creating the necessary programs and providing the necessary support in various ways, coming up with wonderful initiatives. So I think that the Kenyan youth have the support system they need from government. They just need to use it.
Ambassador Amina Mohammed, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we thank you for speaking to us on KTN Prime.
Thank you very much.
As you now know, it is just hours before U.S. President Barack Obama makes his way to the country. And there are 3 counties that are laying claim to the U.S. President. Take a look.
When U.S. President Barack Obama jets in late Friday, he will be setting foot on Kenyan soil for the 4th time. In one generation, he will have lifted his ancestral heritage from a tiny village near the equator in the county of Siaya to the White House. President Obama's legend has been centered in part on an issue that is scarcely familiar to him: his link to Kenya, the land of his father, Barack Obama Sr. Obama Sr. was born in Kogelo village, Siaya, around 60 kilometers north of Kisumu. But where exactly do Obama's ancestral roots lie? 3 counties in Luo Nyanza are now claiming to be the ancestral home of the United States' 44th president. Siaya, Migori and Homa Bay counties are laying stake to Obama's lineage. Migori Governor Okoth Obado started the whole debate. Speaking to the Standard on phone, Obado said Obama Village has been in the county long before people even knew of Barack Obama. Obado says there has been distortion of facts regarding where the Obama family traces its roots. The Migori governor insists that it is a misconception that Obama's family is entirely in Siaya County. Elsewhere in Homa Bay County, Governor Cyprian Awiti told the Standard that the Obama family indeed first settled in Kanyathiang village in Kendu Bay before moving to Alego Kogelo in Siaya. Awiti therefore said President Barack Obama has every reason to identify with Homa Bay County. And Mama Sarah Obama, in her interview with the Standard, confirmed that indeed they have a family in Homa Bay. But Siaya County claims the strongest and closest relation to Obama, and this is evident following the many visits and attraction the region has got ever since the news of him being Illinois Senator was broken. Obama's father, Barack Obama Sr., was born in 1936 to Hussein Onyango and Obama's second wife, Akumu. Hussein's third wife, Sarah Onyango Obama, is Obama's oldest living relative. Mama Sarah, whom he calls Granny and hails from Kogelo, is indeed President Obama's step-grandmother. So does President Obama belong to Siaya County, Homa Bay County, Migori County, or the state of Illinois? Many will agree that he is indeed a son of Kenya. Ben Kitili, KTN.
You're watching KTN News. So there will be traffic disruptions on Mombasa Road, Uhuru Highway and Waiyaki Way on Friday afternoon. Tonight on our big question, we're looking for your opinion on that, on the disruption that will be seen on Mombasa Road, Uhuru Highway and Waiyaki Way. Tweet us at KTN Kenya, at Linda Oguto. I'd love to sample some of your views before we end this bulletin. Thank you for staying with KTN Prime. Let's go to Uasin Gishu now, where Mercy Kandie tells us the Deputy President launched a lab which will be critical in the production of laptops for schools. Mercy.
Wednesday morning, and the Deputy President William Ruto was in Eldoret town at the Moi University's Rivertex company to officially launch the laptop and tablet assembling processing plant. The plant has capacity to produce about 400,000 units annually.
Moi University, in partnership with a Portuguese company called JP International, has launched an assembly plant for laptops and tablets.
The processing plant that is at the Moi University Rivertex company is said to will be in full capacity in the next 4 months, and what the Deputy President says will eventually be rolled out to primary school children.
I do expect that Moi University will now focus on not just the assembly of computers and tablets, that they will progress into telephones and other ICT gadgets, so that progressively we will move away from assembly to manufacture and expand the whole industry and create more jobs.
It is the only university west of Kenya with an ICT assembly line. Your Excellency, we want to urge you to support this university in ensuring that funding is increased so that they can continue innovating and researching for development in this country.
The eMlango program is where we have supplied computers to 60 of our primary schools in this county, and that particular program is assisting us in making sure that our children are able to learn in a good environment.
The Moi University main campus says that it has enough human resource to ensure that the assembling plant is up and running. For KTN News in Eldoret Town, I'm Mercy Kandie.
Mercy Kandie, thank you. There was panic today in Mombasa when a terror suspect, radical preacher Khalid Mohammed Ali, was being transported to court. Our Coast reporter Francis Ontomwa has been following this story for us. Francis, what exactly was the cause of this panic?
Yes, Linda, earlier today intelligence reports leaked out that there was a planned interception of the vehicle that was supposed to carry the terror suspect from prison to Mombasa law courts. And of course, this occasioned a shift of affairs from Mombasa now to Shanzu law courts. Khalid Mohammed Ali is a terror suspect who is believed to have masterminded several terror attacks in the country. The recent one being the Lamu killing of 4 civilians. Is also attached to the killing that was done at the Garissa University. A heavy contingent of police officers deployed in the afternoon at the Shanzu law courts was enough proof that the judiciary was to receive an extraordinary kind of suspect that was not taking chances, as the men in blue took control of the court premises from the entrance to the courtrooms. Inside the court, one man was to be found staring into the glares of cameras. His identity, radical Islamic preacher Khalid Mohammed Ali. Earlier in the morning, panic went round when a section of the media managed to access intelligence reports that there was a planned interception of the vehicle carrying Khalid to Mombasa law courts. And for this, the prosecution would petition for the suspect to be arraigned at Shanzu, which is on the outskirts of the city. Khalid Mohammed was first arrested on May 23rd this year at his home in Bondeni on terror-related charges. During the raid, police say they recovered a hand grenade, plastic multiplier explosives, detonator, passports and CDs believed to have contained instigating material. Appearing before Justice Martin Muya, the prosecution was to develop 2 cases against the accused and ask the court to vary orders of bail granted to the accused on July 14. A day before the bail was granted, unknown attackers will conduct an ambush attack at Hindi in Lamu, killing 4 civilians believed to have been part of the ongoing case as witnesses. During the attack, 1 policeman was badly injured, events that the prosecution is suspecting Khalid's hand involved. The preacher is also suspected to have been involved with the planning and execution of the deadly Garissa University attack of April the 2nd. Security operators here in Mombasa are treating the case against Khalid Mohammed Ali with a lot of sensitivity, with the argument on whether to revoke the bail or not set to continue tomorrow. Francis Ontomwa, KTN News, Mombasa.
In a related story, KDF troops have killed 24 Al-Shabaab militia. They've captured Bardere Bridge and recovered 25 AK-47 rifles in clashes that also left 2 Somali soldiers dead. This is a developing story that we're keeping an eye on for you, and of course we'll bring you the details in our subsequent bulletins. You're watching KTN News, and we thank you for staying with us. On our big question tonight, we're asking your thoughts on the disruption of traffic that is expected from Friday. And Paul Mwani says most Kenyans in Nairobi will have difficulty in getting means of transport. The president should announce this to be a holiday. Douglas Katuto says, now if anyone needs to be taken to Kenyatta National Hospital, atapitisha wapi now that Mombasa Road will be closed? Those are just some of your thoughts on the traffic disruptions that are expected this coming weekend. We are taking a break. Stay with us. We have more coming your way on KTN News.
Good evening. It's time for business. I'm Joy Doreen Bira. In a break from what has been the norm, the Kenya shilling has recorded gains against major international peers for a 2nd consecutive trading day. The shilling strengthened 0.95% to 100 shillings 53 cents on the back of the positive investment sentiment generated by the upcoming U.S. presidential visit. But analysts are raising questions on whether the rally was worth the pain that came with it. Adel Changole has more.
2015 has been a bad year for the Kenya shilling after coming under attack from a rebounding dollar. The U.S. currency has been gaining momentum over the last 1 year as the quantitative easing process began bearing fruits. However, while the dollar was doing well, most of the currencies around the world were feeling the heat.
Ghana cedi down more than 20%. The Tanzania shilling, the rand is weak.
The shilling was no exception, shedding a cumulative 12% from the beginning of the year and forcing the central bank to effect 2 increases to the central bank rate in the last 2 months. The central bank has also been aggressively mopping up liquidity in the market through its open market operations. And it would seem the measures are finally bearing fruits after the shilling rallied for the 2nd day running to close the day at 101.49 to $1 compared to Tuesday's close of 102.55. Traders, however, say the rally has been driven by a scarcity brought about by the frequent intervention by the central bank. The result has fueled scarcity of the shilling, with the interbank rate rising to the highest level seen this year. In the last 2 weeks, the interbank rate, which is the rate at which banks lend to each other and acts as a signal for the level of money in circulation, has risen from 8.5% to the current 15.8%. Analysts also say the shilling has gained from the positive investment sentiment and the feel-good effect generated by the upcoming U.S. presidential visit. The local unit posted gains worth 1.52% against the sterling pound and 1.07% against the euro. Despite the rally, analysts are questioning the persistent interventions, which have seen the country's import cover fall from 4.64 months in January to 4.2 months in July. They say the local unit has performed relatively better than its peers, which have displayed significantly steeper declines against the dollar in the last 5 months.
The shilling has fallen dramatically against the dollar, but we've risen against our trading partners like the Uganda shilling. We've actually gone up 10%. Tanzania, similar story. The shilling has actually been relatively strong in what has been largely a sub-Saharan African bloodbath.
And they have a message to the central bank in the lead-up to the third Monetary Policy Committee to be held in August.
Communicate to us Kenyans how far they're prepared to go to defend the shilling, if that is what they're doing, and what costs they're prepared for us to pay to defend the shilling. Was it worth making loans this expensive, raising the interbank rate, and all these other factors that we've done, making capital more expensive, just because we needed to artificially defend the shilling.
Adli Changole, KTN Business.
As other retailers review their operations in Uganda following less than stellar performances, Nakumatt Supermarket is finalizing plans to acquire even more stores in the country. Nakumatt says it's in the final stages of plans to buy 2 stores from South African retail giant Shoprite, which is bowing out of the country. Shoprite opened its business in Uganda 15 years ago and was among the first shopping malls to open in Uganda. However, the rising competition brought about by the entry of new retailers such as Uchumi, Capital Shoppers, Quality, Nakumatt and Tuskys has contributed to its plan to exit East Africa. The buyout will mark the exit of the South African retail giant from the East African market after it sold its 3 Tanzanian outlets to Nakumatt for a reported 4 billion Kenya shillings. Nakumatt, which has been on an expansion drive in East Africa, has 8 branches in Uganda. The firm plans to expand into South Sudan and Burundi as it seeks to increase its penetration in the East African market from the current 14% to at least 30% in the next 10 years. And it's a Wednesday, we always have the adventurer. As the country gears up to the 6th Global Entrepreneurship Summit, President Uhuru Kenyatta today opened an Entrepreneurs Expo here in Nairobi, where hundreds of local entrepreneurs met to showcase their craft. KTN's Charles Gitunga attended the event and spoke to entrepreneurs about their expectations on the upcoming global conference.
Welcome to The Adventurer, this week reporting from the Kenyatta International Convention Center, where the Pre-Global Entrepreneurship Summit Expo is ongoing, and we are all about speaking to the entrepreneurs on the opportunity available to them during the Global Entrepreneurship Summit in the coming weekend.
I'm Wangeshi Wandere. My company is called African Kaya, of the food blog africankaya.com. So what I do is I run a food blog where I give free recipes, I give tips for the home on how to make your home better. I show you how to make detergents and cleaners from everything that you just have in the house. I also sell artisan and gourmet food items, which is what I have here today. I have sweet chili jam, sweet chili sauce, bacon jam, different nut butters, butters from cashew nuts, peanuts, macadamias, almonds, and so many other products that I have. The GES, the pre-GES Expo has been really good for me because in just one day I've met quite a number of people who are interested in buying my items in bulk, people who are asking me for 500 products or 50 products or such numbers, and that has been very good for me because it's an opportunity for my business to grow.
My name is Tony Mugita.
I represent a brand called Fun Kids Limited. We're based at the Museum Hill Center, just across the National Museum. We're very excited about the summit. We've made a lot of new contacts. We like the response. The turnout has been excellent. We're just glad for the opportunity to at least be here and see all the entrepreneurs from around the country and be in one forum where we can network and exchange ideas and hopefully work on how we can expand into all the markets around the country.
And now let's speak to some of the innovators in the security sector. And I can see a smart police station. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Tell us about this innovation.
Thank you. My name is Dan Kinyo. What we're exhibiting today is a smart police station. Basically, what it means is we are automating the whole justice value chain from crime occurrence when it's recorded at the police station, that's the OB, or the incident management, to investigation, up to prosecution.
My name is Ziregi Wanjohi. I'm the CEO of Emotion Technology. We developed, around 2010, we developed an app for the traffic police. You can verify the driving license. They can verify the registration, whether the registration has double registration or there is any problem with the registration. It can also verify inspection sticker. It also can be able, if it can be implemented by the police, the police would be able to make a database of charges, people who are being charged.
My name is Kelvin Bugo. I am the CEO of Zenga Africa. I'm one of the co-founders of Zenga Africa. So what we do is that we want to reduce the business failure rate. We have a platform where new entrepreneurs can actually access capital, information on their various businesses and business support services such as law, lawyers, accountants, financial analysts, brand managers, and PR consultants, and also web developers.
And from technological innovations, we now take a look at arts, and we are welcomed by a portrait drawing of President Obama and Uhuru Kenyatta, and quite an unusual visitor here, a cock.
My name is Joaquim Onyango Ndalo. This picture, when I hear Obama is coming to Kenya, I decide to draw my president and Obama.
And so the Kenya shilling today, strengthened by 0.95%, closing the day at 100 shillings and 53 cents, better than last week. Hoping that the next few days can see this kind of trend or even more strength. That's it for KTN Business. I'm Joy Doreen Bira. For more news, log on to our website, ktnkenya.tv. Good night.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to tonight's edition of KTN Sports. My name is Lynn Washira. We kick off the bulletin in matters athletics where World Youth Silver medalist Alphonse Kishoyan and double national champion Mike Mukamba, who have both attained qualification standards, are not resting in their achievements. The duo is busy on the track where they are working on their speed and tactics ahead of the national trials set for the 31st of this month and 1st of August. With the national athletics trials set to go down in slightly over a week, Kenyan athletes are busy sharpening their skills ahead of what is expected to be a battle royale for limited slots to the World Athletics Championships in Beijing later next month. World Youth 400 meters silver medalist Alphonse Kishoyan and national 200 meters and 100 meters champion Mike Mukamba, they're hoping to make their maiden appearance at the World Athletics Championships.
Feeling great because my training has been good, and I'm waiting for the trial so that we may compete well and improve on our timings.
Boli na response mzuri, nimesha recover ya kutosha, nimetayarisha, so nangoja tu.
Mukamba, who lowered the 100 meters national record at the national championships, hopes to cap his impressive season with a win at the trials, but most importantly, leave a lasting mark.
Target is first of all to reach at the finals of the World Championship because it will be a great thing for me. And there in the finals everything is possible. We hope for the best.
The Defense Forces athlete credits his spectacular form to dedication and hard work in training, while acknowledging the huge role played by his father-cum coach Elkanah Nyang'ao, who is a former Kenyan sprinter.
It's a great opportunity to have a dad who is also my coach, because he's understanding and knows us well and give us the right training.
It's not easy to coach your son asikie ile kitu ambao unafaa umuelezea, anasema dadia anasema nini, lakini hata nyinyi wenyewe mnaona nikimwambia hivi yeye hufanya.
Kishoyan has already had his fair share of international glory in the youth category, but is yet to break through in the senior category.
2012 nilikuwa junior championship, which nika graduate as a senior, so this is my first time in senior championship.
He hopes their resilience to succeed in the short races will inspire more athletes to take up sprints and compete on an equal playing ground with their middle and long distance counterparts.
Nataka kuleta hiyo different, bring a change. Hata najua labda 800 ndio wameona watu wanafanya mzuri.
Yeah, because Kenyans hatuwezi kukimbia mbio fupi ama mrefu. It's just that mentality too. Kusema hatuwezi kukimbia. The main thing is about training and discipline.
The national trials for the World Athletics Championships will be held on the 31st of this month and 1st of August. And keeping it football, the recent struggles by the national women team Harambee Starlets has inspired the launch of the first ever Nairobi Women Champions Cup. The new tournament will have a total of 16 teams taking part, with a cash reward of 250,000 Kenya shillings on offer for the winner. The runners-up will pocket 100,000 Kenya shillings, where the third-place team walks away with Kenya shillings 50,000 Kenya shillings. In some of the opening fixtures to be played mid-next month, when the event kicks off early next month, Street Revolution will take on Golden Angels, while Sunderland Samba tackles Kibagare Girls. Well, that's how we wrap up tonight's edition of KTN Sports. I'm Lynn Washira. Do join me tomorrow for another comprehensive bulletin right here on KTN.
So, your thoughts on the expected traffic disruptions during President Obama's visit? That was our big question tonight. As Busyoga says, the traffic inconvenience will be immense. It will make much sense if the government declares Friday a public holiday. Frederick Luslan says it's not traffic disruption, but a big test to our preparedness. Schiffler says, we have wasted years and resources stuck in crazy, useless traffic. Obama disruptions are positive and welcome. Ahmed Moyo says, our roads being what they are, congested, I think disruption is well both for security and ease of movement. And finally, Dr. Kenneth Omeyo says, let the president declare a public holiday in Nairobi only. Nairobi is a small fraction of the rest of Kenya to inconvenience them. Those are your thoughts on our big question. We thank you for participating and indeed for watching KTN Prime. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Linda Magutu.